Hello, and welcome to another edition of GameQ. Today we're talking about
AI, the Somnium Files.
Yeah, today, as all of the days, I guess, I am host X, Jason.
I am host J, Wesley.
X and J. I don't get it.
It's
Just arbitrary? Okay, cool.
Oh, I should host I. Oh, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about AI, the Somnium Files game on a bunch of different platforms, but we played it on the Nintendo Switch. As per usual, the format is we'll kind of talk about it for a bit, give our sort of brief overview of the game, how we felt about it, give a review, score, and then after that we'll kind of do a more deeper in-depth deep dive conversation.
Spoilers. So
with spoilers. Yes, please.
It will warn you before the spoilers.
Yeah, cover your ears if you hate spoilers. Run away, go play the game, and then come listen to us talk about it afterwards if you want. Yeah, I think we're ready to then get started.
Sounds good.
Yeah, what would you... I guess, so this is, if you've played other games by the designer, I guess lead designer, or scenario writer, I suppose, is, what's his name?
His first name? I'm not sure his first name.
Oh, no, I've forgotten his first name.
But that's fine, because we just know him as...
Uchikoshi. It's like Kenji Uchikoshi?
I feel like it's
Kentaro Uchikoshi? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Last name's Uchikoshi, or surname. Pretty cool guy. Made the Zero Escape series. 9 hours, 9 persons. 9 persons? 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Right.
Yes, 9 doors.
AKA 999.
Yes. Much easier.
Virtue's Last Reward. VLR. And Zero Time Dilemma?
Correct.
Yeah, there we go.
ZTD.
Very, very good visual novels. Some of the best, basically ever.
Yes. A masterpiece trilogy.
Yes. I refer to 999 as being a game that... It's one of those weird, like... You can only experience that as a game.
Sure.
It doesn't work as an anime, it doesn't work as a movie, it doesn't work as anything else but a game. Yeah,
Zero Escape is very much this is the only medium that you can do them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That the story just doesn't work otherwise. So this is sort of his latest game, but as he says in the sort of intro in the art book, like, this was a team effort, so congrats to the people at Spike Chunsoft who put this together. But I just wanted to give a little context for what it is. But this is the latest in his various visual novels. Visual novels are sort of, I don't know, talky adventure games?
Yeah, very...
adventure games with a lot of...
Very much like choose your own adventure, very dialogue heavy. All of Uchikoshi's games that I've played, there's just a couple, at least one more I haven't played.
Just a couple. He's pretty prolific.
Sure.
We haven't played all of them.
They all have sort of story and then some sort of gameplay / puzzly bits at different points in the story.
Yeah, it's kind of a blend of, you basically do the story, choose your own adventure bits, and then in between you kind of usually have some kind of puzzle or something just to kind of break up the action. So this is definitely a game for people who like to read, though in this case there's voice acting. So.
Yeah, it's pretty much all fully voice acted except some like internal like narration or so.
Yeah, we played the English dub. So I think it does include it includes the Japanese voices on the cartridge. Sure. So you can play it either way you want, but the dub cast is really good.
Yeah.
I quite liked everybody. There's maybe one voice I'm a little mixed on, but I liked everybody else.
Okay. I guess I'll find out soon.
Yeah, it's maybe a spoiler. Yeah, the kind of gist of it is that you are Date, Kaname Date, this dude behind us.
Who is nowhere near as intense as this picture suggests.
No, it makes him look a lot scarier, doesn't it? Kaname Date is
kind
like...
of a doofus.
Yeah. He's kind of this, I guess, a secret agent for Abyss, this, like, police organization that I guess their thing is that they can dive into people's dreams while they're unconscious, and using a special machine called the sync machine.
That sync with a P.
Yes, a sync machine. And when they dive into their memory or in their dreams, then they can like find out secrets that people have been hiding away or refuse to talk about, or maybe even have like forgotten or repressed in some way. And so you're playing as this dude, and you kind of start the game with a mysterious murder that's happened. A woman has been murdered, left on a carousel horse, with her left eye removed, and like stab wounds all through her body. And from there, you're sort of assigned to this case, and from there, you're sort of told to figure out what happened. Like your goal is to solve the case. And it's a big branching narrative. You get to investigate scenes, talk to a bunch of people. Eventually, you'll need to go and dive into somebody's dream world. Their Somnium. Yeah. And the Somnium is where you kind of have the gameplay bits, the sort of more puzzly part.
In so much as they're marginally actiony, they're still mostly a puzzle.
Yeah.
You do have a time limit.
Yeah, the conceit is that you have 6 minutes when you're in somebody's Somnium. If you stand still, then time goes by very slowly, like microseconds.
Basically doesn't matter, yeah.
But when you move, time goes at full speed.
Like Super Hot.
Yeah, basically.
Without the action.
And you like move around interacting with objects, and the dream world is very dreamlike, so object interactions may not happen the way you expect them to happen. Basically walk up to something, press a button. All the objects you can interact with are tagged, so you're not doing any kind of puzzle, point and click sort of thing. You just walk up to a tag, press A, and then it reveals to you like 1 to 4 options. And each of those options takes an amount of time, so they deduct from your 6-minute counter. But you also get these little timies, I guess they're called.
Yeah, little bonus chips.
Little bonus chips that you can use to reduce the amount of time actions take
on future ones.
On further ones. Yeah, you can hold up to 3 of these things. Some of them are good. Some of them are like specific times, like. You might find one that sets the time to 1, or sets the time to 10, or sets the time to 50, or something. Other times you'll find ones that are actually bad.
Times 2.
That might times 2 or times 3 and force you to use them. And then you can find ones that are like fractional times, that are like half or quarter or tenth the time. And that's sort of the gameplay is trying to solve the Somniums without going over the 6-minute time limit.
Yeah. And as you say, things are very dreamlike, so interactions can be quite bizarre.
Yeah.
There's some where it's like, oh, obviously I would, take this action to do this. But some it's like, wow, what am I going to do with this tree?
Yeah.
Guess I'll scream at it. Oh, okay.
Oh, that worked, yeah.
Screaming at the tree was the thing to do.
So, yeah, you're kind of meant to just try some things until you sort of figure out what you're supposed to do, and then plan a perfect run. So you can restart the Somnium and do it the right way.
Luckily, the wrong answers are usually pretty funny. So
yes, it's a lot of funny writing all throughout. The writing's actually really good.
Yes.
The Somniums are where the branching points are in the story. So depending on what you did in the Somnium, you might learn different things, and that'll create branches in your timeline. You've got a big timeline chart that you can kind of. That's the choose your own adventure part, I guess. Is doing a Somnium one way or the other will unlock 2 different branches from that Somnium, and then you can kind of choose which way you want to go down. You sort of see plots to their completion, and you might run into dead ends and need to jump to a different part of the story, and you'll basically be carrying information around. So you might learn something in one path that you need to like continue down another path. That's sort of like the overall game loop.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what should we talk about here?
Yeah, I mean, writing first I think is interesting.
Okay, sure.
certainly, like, the overall story is quite well written. Like, scenario writing, I think, is good. Dialogue is all quite amusing.
Yes.
Date is pretty silly as a character. He's also fairly lecherous.
Yeah, and that's
for
actually,
better or worse.
That's yeah. So if you've played other visual novels, if you've played the other games like the Zero Escape series, this feels like pretty familiar territory to you, like writing wise. It's really good. The localization's really good.
Yes.
There's not a lot of typos. Everything kind of reads fine. The voice actors are great. I think Date and some of the other characters, there's a lot of just like random raunchy humor, and the girls are kind of sexualized sometimes in weird ways.
Yeah.
And that does kind of detract a little bit. Especially because it's not particularly plot relevant, that some characters are very lecherous.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird. That's the part that I'm like, I think of all of the writing, I think that was maybe the weakest, because in particular in games like 999, there's like a couple of really raunchy scenes in 999 that are really fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
There's like one in particular that's really funny. That's because they only have like 2 or 3 of those kind of naughty joke sections. So they catch you off guard, and they're like, you're not expecting it when it happens, and that just makes the moment better.
Yeah.
Here they're
anytime Date meets like a new woman, you can be sure there's going to be some kind of like
he's gonna come
joke at her expense.
Yeah. And I mean, the girls don't just let people walk over them, I guess. So that's
that's true.
Yeah, it just, I think it's so borderline.
Yeah,
on that point.
On one hand, it's like a little much. On the other hand, it happens so much that it is like an amusing running gag.
Yeah, it does kind of play out like a running gag.
In a game that is chock full of running gags.
There are a lot of running gags. And there's this sort of, it's a little refreshing, I guess, because you kind of get the sense that this is how Uchikoshi thinks. Like, he is...
Yes.
Or whoever's writing this is like, they have random perverted thoughts a lot.
Yes.
And that's just how they are, and that's fine. At least they admit that. Like, at least they're not trying to hide it. They're not trying to dress it up as anything.
Yeah, like, it's always portrayed as like, damn it, Date, why are you doing this again?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, he's never rewarded for being like this.
Yeah, not really. Yeah. It's kind of, it's all played at his expense, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And luckily, you do always have Iva with you.
Yes, Iva is usually there to kind of cut your shit.
Your virtual assistant / eyeball. You may notice that Date has a very glowing left eye in this picture. And that is Iva. Date himself has lost an eye in the past.
It's really good. Get over here, there it is.
I'm sure they know.
Shining eye.
But lucky for him, in Abyss, the police organization, they have created for him this very advanced AI that can be his partner and live in his eye socket and give him special powers like X-ray vision and thermal vision, night vision, zoom.
So yeah, you've got kind of like an AR layer that you're kind of dealing with all the time.
Yeah, that's very snarky.
Yeah, and it's also the source of a lot of the eye references. This game,
it's about eyes.
Is gonna mention eyes a lot. If you didn't notice, AI can be pronounced I.
Yep.
I is also Japanese for love.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of character names are just like references to eyes or parts of the eye.
Over here we have Iris.
Yes, Iris. There's so much eye stuff. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
Yes.
And the game has this good balance, I think, of funny to serious.
Yeah.
They do a good job most of the time of like, if you're in a serious moment, like you're rushing to go do something, usually there's not like, a lot of times you can kind of interact with stuff or like look at stuff in the scenery, and there'll be random jokes that they'll make about things.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if you're in like if your character's in a rush, you can kind of tell You look at a couple things and there's no jokes are going to happen.
You're like, okay, fine.
And you keep going. But there are quite a lot of jokes.
Yes.
There's also quite a lot of good stuff. It's a really...
Oh, yeah.
I think plot-wise, it's a really good mystery.
Mm-hmm.
It is the sort of mystery that you can solve before it's done. Like the player can figure out a lot of the important pieces before it's done because the game trusts you.
Yes.
I think.
It will give you sufficient clues to make you like wonder about things and like actually come up with theories.
Yeah, you're able to theorize about things without having full information,
mm-hmm.
and once you get information, you feel like you can adjust your theories accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
There are plot twists, and I feel like we predicted a lot of the plot twists, I guess.
Most, yeah, we'll talk about more about after in the
but that felt good because
mm-hmm.
it felt like we were rewarded for thinking about what was going on.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, it's obvious and the plot twists don't hit. Yeah, it's very much like you're not 100% sure that what you're doing is right, but like you can certainly think that you've come to the right conclusion. Like we certainly have working hypotheses going through that then we get like updated with new information.
Yeah.
It was very fun throughout to like sit back and consider. Even after like one line of dialogue, you speech information, we just like stop.
Yes.
And like read.
Yeah, we'd stop and look at each other like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I think if you've played Zero Escape games is like it might not actually be possible to like get to the same like
it's true.
You might not be able to solve the crimes without like before the characters do,
mm-hmm.
if you haven't played a Zero Escape game before.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have, you kind of some things you're sort of expecting, or you're like you're watching for like little bits of details that like you know most people would probably miss, but like this is your fourth rodeo, like you're gonna notice probably.
As veterans ourselves.
Yes, there's some writing tricks that they use that are really good and I like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fun and sneaky. The characters are all pretty endearing, I think.
Yeah, they're pretty interesting.
There's a couple, I mean, there's still some that are the lecherous ones. Yeah, I guess maybe some of them are hit and miss. I like Oda's story.
Yeah, and Oda is like, you can imagine the kind of person that...
Yeah, I might not actually like Oda himself.
Right, you're not a great person.
But I liked his story. I liked everybody's story. I thought everybody had a good story, or like good character arc throughout the whole thing.
This is now a Mama fan club channel.
Yes. Mama fans only, please.
Yes.
Yeah, you get to spend a lot of time with everybody. You feel like you kind of know everyone by the end.
Sure, yeah. People have almost everyone has some interesting, like, hidden motivations.
Yeah.
People do things you're like, I don't understand why they're doing this, but that is part of like each character's individual mystery, which can be even separate from the main mystery, but you have a lot of these like micro mysteries going on as well. Pretty interesting.
So anything you didn't like?
Certainly compared to Zero Escape, like there's less branching paths. There's less of that Zero Escape shenaniganry.
There is
of moving information around.
Yeah, you have the timeline, but it's not.
The story is kind of linear, even given that. Like, there's some different ways you might go through it.
Yeah, there's different ways you might go through the early part, but once you start hitting some of the branches that get blocked...
the last third is pretty linear.
Yeah, you kind of have to go through those in order, which is, I mean, it's okay. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
You don't feel bad about it, necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just not as much of the branches... When you play, like, VLR,
mm-hmm.
the branches are all pretty, like... There's a lot of branches,
mm-hmm.
And you know when to expect them. In... AI, the branches come kind of randomly because you're not...
That's true.
You're not exactly sure when you're going to need to do another sync with somebody,
right.
And that's the only point when things branch.
Yeah.
And the thing I didn't like was compared to Zero Escape, where you get to the end of a branch and you're blocked,
mm-hmm.
you almost always know exactly what you're missing, or like you know what kind of information you don't know.
I think there's some cases where it's like maybe a little less
it might
clear,
be ambiguous,
but
then
sometimes
you go do another path and you might go, I needed this piece of information, and then you go back and do the other path. But here they kind of have to, like, you get blocked on a path, but you don't know why. It just kind of stops.
Even after you unlock it, it's like less clear why. It's more like, for the sake of the story, we didn't want you to see this yet.
Yeah. So it feels a bit like that.
Fights against the choose your own adventure a little bit. VLR handles this and other Zero Escape games handle this much more naturally.
Yeah, I think VLR and ZTD do this a bit better. VLR is probably like the poster child for doing this the right way.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I think that's probably my main complaint. I mean, on Switch, there's some just technical issues, I think.
Yes, that's true.
Maybe it's better if you play it on PC or PS4. I mean, it's still worth playing if you've got a Switch and you want to play it.
It's not like game breaking. It's just a little bit silly.
There's some loading issues. They constantly want to, whenever they do kind of like little flashbacks and dialogue, which they do a lot of.
Remember what the mermaid said? Then you're like waiting 10 seconds and it looks like nothing's happening. You're like, did the game freeze?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember what the mermaid said?
And you can like still rotate the camera and look around. And you're just like, what's happening?
And then it loads like a 1-second clip of like, I saw him yesterday. You're like, oh, did we have to wait for that?
Well, the worst part is when they're like, oh, the mermaid's, remember the mermaid from yesterday? She said that she saw him at 5 o'clock. And then you wait. You're waiting. And then it loads, and it's like the mermaid there, standing there, and she says, oh yeah, I saw him at 5 o'clock. and then it goes away. And you're like, was that necessary? I mean, I think some of that is definitely, like, it is handy to have some of those, because, I mean, they're almost all kind of handy.
Just because the flashbacks are quite reasonable.
You're like, oh, right, I did talk to her at that place, because you might have been on a different branch earlier and kind of jumped over to this one to see something. So it's like, it's okay, but I wish they had found a better technical solution to it.
It'd be totally fine as long as they just loaded in a timely fashion, which they don't, and it's not even, like, super obvious why. I mean, if you do game dev stuff...
after a while, I think you figure it out, but...
But, like, why did it take 10 seconds to load 1 second of audio?
Yeah, similarly, there's some, around the flashback, sometimes there's, like, while the game is trying to load something or preemptively load something, there's a bit of stutter in the frame rate.
Yeah.
Again, that's fine.
It's usually during the loading screens themselves. This is like fine.
The other thing I was going to mention was the action scenes. They try to do action scenes in the game.
Yeah.
These are like a shootout or trying to run and catch somebody before they die or whatever. I don't know. And the action scenes are just...
They're very slow for action.
Yeah, they're very slow for action.
What they're trying to do is cute. It's like, okay, Aiba is a super advanced artificial intelligence. She can, like, process so fast that it's like you stop time while you figure out the perfect plan. But then the execution, like, she's like, oh, do this, quick! And you go do it.
And then you have to load the AI, like, zooming in on the eye.
Yeah, then there's, like, a 20-second pause before the next step. You're like, but... can I just do the cool thing? Like, it's a lot less cool if it's like a turn-based shooter.
Yeah, everything has like a quick loading step in between, or like
slow
a fade to black, fade back in, or cutaway, or like there's a lot of it's very
pacing in those is just
I love what they were trying to do. They just didn't quite have the implementation to like make it shine.
Yeah.
The other thing kind of around those is that a lot of those are really silly.
The action scenes, almost all of them are
basically
silly.
All of the action scenes are, except for maybe the last one.
Yeah.
usually have something really silly or stupid going on.
I mean,
the solution is often very funny.
They are certainly amusing.
There's some running gags in them.
But like, for what should be, I guess, a very like tense action moment, they are always very silly.
So yeah, that kind of detracts. That's like the one place where I think that they go a little bit too hard on the silliness.
Yeah, I think doing it once was fine, and then doing it literally every time was like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I get it. Yeah. It didn't really detract that much from the game either way, but yeah, I don't know, still. I thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
It is a downside.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anything else you want to do before doing reviews?
Score time. Do you want to score?
Yeah, I'll do my score first. Sure. I mean, I think this is actually maybe a little tough. But nah, I'm just gonna give it a 4. I think if you like visual novels, like, do it, play it, give it a shot. I think the story is really interesting. It's just a good fucking mystery.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I think the pacing is a lot slower than other Zero Escape games.
I think it's true.
As a result, you get to spend more time with people in situations that are like less stressful.
That's true.
So you actually kind of get to see people's like calm sides and normal personalities, and not they're like, oh my god, we're gonna get stabbed in like 3 seconds. Like,
yeah, all the Zero Escape games are all done in like
you're not about to drown, or
like a high time pressure situation where everyone's always on edge 100% of the time. So
yeah, so you get to see more people in more situations. You just have to be ready for like a lot of the beginning of the game is going to be a bit more going around and just talking to people, just chatting about stuff, and I mean, you're investigating, but yeah, it'll be a little bit slower. But even this, like, I think that just gives a different feel. So if you like Zero Escape, try it out. If you like visual novels, definitely try it out. It's good. I think it's just a good adventure. As long as you don't hate story. If you're the type of person who wants to skip every cutscene, don't play it. Yeah. But otherwise,
there's no game left.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you want a good story and you want a good experience, it's like, what, 40 hours is what we put in?
Yeah, I think we were just shy of 40 hours. I think it was like 38-ish.
Yeah, those 40 hours of like dense story play and lots of mystery, lots of things to solve. Yeah, do it. Just do it.
Alright, so we'll rein in slightly.
That's the first differing review.
I'll go for maybe it's like a high 3. Yeah, I think it's no new Zero Escape game, that's for sure.
No, I don't think so.
Like Zero Escape are like super, super good. Yeah, I did find it a little bit slower. Some of that is investigation, like the fact that there's a lot of things that you click on and like nothing happens. Like you click on the fence, and it's like, it's a fence.
Yes, there's a surprising amount of dead kind of objects to click on, which they should just remove. There's some objects that you literally never...
funny or important, don't do it.
Yeah, I feel like even Phoenix Wright tends to do like everything is funny. Like they'll always be.
Yeah,
at least
I feel like I don't feel like this is. I mean, the investigations I do think are the weak part of Phoenix Wright as well. Like I think Courtroom is just so much better.
Sure.
It's a little Courtroom, but yeah, here. What's nice is they're always very clear about when you can leave an area.
Yes.
So you're never gonna like waste. Like usually, it's pretty obvious what to interact with to get what you need.
Right.
And everything else is just kind of like background items might be silly. Like we've got the running gag of sofas and like everyone thinks a sofa is some other thing, or or mistakes the word sofa for other words. And so you have things you're like, oh yeah, every time I come into this room, I'm definitely clicking the sofa. I know that'll be fun.
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna look at that plant. So I know that's gonna be fun. That lantern,
the cat. The lucky cat.
The high stool. So that's fine. But yeah, there's a lot of just kind of these like dead objects that I'm kind of like, okay. They didn't. I mean, a lot of this is probably comparing to Zero Escape, but it was
but Zero Escape is like literally the pinnacle.
It's, so good.
It's like if you haven't played any of the Zero Escape games, play those first, obviously.
Yeah.
If you can.
Or play this first, then you'll be like, wow, Zero Escape.
No, I think play. Like, if you've got time to spend and you want to play a really good story, play 999.
I was just saying, if you're going to play them all, play this first.
No, play 999 first. Play 999 first.
Yeah, it's fine.
If you're going to play visual novels, start with 999, then VLR, then ZTD, and then come back to this.
Yeah, they're like certainly just the best. Probably like the best 3.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But I feel like that's like a really high bar.
Oh, I know it is. But yeah, I think like, some of the little bits, it's all like little things that kind of add up. The writing on the whole is really quite good, but there's some, there's like, these little bits that we've complained about some.
It's just little bits.
I know. It's just like the branching to it's surprisingly linear for how much it branches. Just like a little unfortunate.
I mean, so we did, the way we played it, we did like actively try to hit all of the dead ends first.
Sure, but you don't necessarily know if they're coming.
Is going to lead you to a like Once you hit the end of all of the dead ends, then you have to just kind of get keychaining.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have had multiple key paths instead, but
Sure.
they didn't. I don't think they went that route. It's hard to tell because we don't know where we would have gotten stopped otherwise.
Sure, yeah. Information transfer is also not nearly as good as Zero Escape.
Yes.
Transfer across branches. It's kind of shoehorned, I think, in this game.
I don't think it's shoehorned. I think it just happens and...
Only happens...
It's not plot relevant like it is in...
Yeah, so
Zero
it's like, a little less exciting.
I think it's just like a cute hint at it.
Yes. There are actually some fun callbacks to Zero Escape.
Yeah. I thought that was more of a, like, we already did some games about that.
Sure.
Like, that's not important.
But it felt like that's what they were going for. Like, that's what they were trying to do.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe not, but...
I didn't think so. There was nothing really that was ever about that. I think he's just... I mean, we can get to that in the spoiler.
Sure.
Continue.
Syncing has some trial and error bits a little bit that are kind of like, like, maybe it would be better if things were more clear. Maybe not. The dreamscape. That's the whole point of being a dreamscape, the dreamscape
right?
is kind of amusing.
Like, it's supposed to be weird and...
Yeah.
And you figure it out eventually. Like, we didn't have to look anything up.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, you can always try it out and, like, try some things. But yeah. High 3. But you could think of this 3 as more of a...
What a fool.
More of a glowing recommendation of the Zero Escape series than anything else. Which are just, like, exceptionally good. Yeah.
Nah, I think if you got a Switch and you got the time, I think give this a shot. I would recommend this to quite a lot of people.
Yeah, as long as you don't hate reading.
Yeah, as long as you don't hate reading and you're okay maybe with the bit of perverted humor.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny.
It is funny, yes. Well, it's borderline excessive, but it's funny.
It is funny.
Okay, I think that's probably good for our, like, spoiler-free talk. We've gone through a lot of that, so let's start the spoiler discussion.
Spoilers are now.
Spoiler time. Wipe the ratings from the board. Thinking.
Just thinking about the receptionist.
Huge breasts. The receptionist is like the I think she's the funniest version of all of the like
of all dirty jokes.
Sexy dirty jokes. Yeah.
She's very ditzy receptionist at Lemniscate.
Yeah.
The idol company.
There's like a good example of the you can like look at something and look at it again and keep looking at it over and over again and the text changes.
Yeah.
And she starts off as what, like...
It's like the receptionist sitting behind the counter.
The big-breasted receptionist.
Huge breasts sitting behind the counter. Huge breasts. Huge breasts are sitting beside the counter, behind the counter.
Yeah, well, there's more steps than that even, but yeah, it's
probably
good.
Probably just a breast or something.
Yeah. So I think some of that like dirty humor is pretty funny. I think it's when it goes towards like
like ASET? Like MoMA and ASET? Or...
Yeah, the stuff between MoMA and ASET's like I'm like asking to see like a teenage girl's panties is like a little much.
Right.
Like come on. She's 18, but really
no, I mean she plays it off super well, which is great.
Yes, but it's still.
But yes, yeah, it's still
a little eye rolly.
Hello, Japan.
Yeah,
we see you.
So like it's funny, but it's like you're just like that makes you feel a little uncomfortable. Don't do that. You could just not. It's not like essential to the scene.
Yeah. It can be funny that he's a huge ASET fan without having to see her panties.
Yes, I think even just they do the handshake like. Just wanting to have the handshake is pretty fun.
Sure, yeah, that's actually pretty cute. Because then you can actually play off the expectation of a dirty joke.
Yes. And they should have just gone... I would have just gone like, okay, do the handshake first, and then do something weird. Like, touch her cheeks or something.
Sure, yeah.
Like, it could still be kind of creepy and give off the same vibe without, like... Without being, let me fucking motorboat you.
Yeah.
Like, that's silly.
Yes.
The ending. We need to talk about the ending cutscene. How everything culminates in a giant musical number. After you've solved the fucking crime of the century.
Yes.
with Mr. Swap's bodies.
Yes, it's quite something. Yeah, the musical number is pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun and cute, and that was like a weirdly emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One.
It's a very avant-garde way to end a murder mystery.
Yeah, and like the post-game content is a practice mode where you can like practice the dance from the ending. And like a really full-featured practice mode. Like
you can pause it and slow it
apart to like
mirror it, so
it's
you can really good.
Nail the AI, the Somnium Files dance. Like, okay. I guess so story.
What story stuff do you want to? Anything you want to call out as being like things you really like? The body swapping thing was really good. I think.
Yes, if we hadn't played others,
that's the hard thing to pick out if you hadn't played 999.
Yes, I think that's true.
That the killer was jumping between bodies.
Yeah, it's a very Zero Escape thing to.
Yeah, it's like
jump consciousness.
The murderer is like kill. Body swap with someone and then kill the old body. Body swap with someone and kill the old body and just chain it. The fact that like Iris on the whole left tree acts really weird. It has this kind of like different expression the whole time.
And she has like reasons not to like you, so it might be fine. But
she just approaches you very weirdly.
Off personality.
There's a lot of good hints to it. The
mysterious body in the warehouse.
Yes, the body in the warehouse, because we did the right-hand path first.
Yeah, and we had a certainly different working hypothesis for that for a long time.
We had a couple of different theories. I said it could be like a fake body. I didn't go for like it's actually a different person.
Yeah, we assumed it was either a hallucination or some fake.
Yeah, I neglected to think that he didn't look at it for very long. It didn't go for very detailed.
Yeah, I'm like, surely he knows who it is, right? Like,
and it's very important that the body is curled up.
Yeah.
In this kind of fetal position, that he doesn't like look at the stomach or like look at the face in detail.
And the thing about like Iva needing to charge at that point is something that I think also, if it's like one of your first mystery visual novels, you might not read much into that at all. You might be just like, oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
And you write off. But here it's like immediate red flags of like
it's a red flag, but you're not sure what it is exactly.
Yeah.
There's also some good stuff around I think there's actually some traps if you have played Zero Escape. In particular, so we have the dead body of All Ice.
Sure.
I guess.
Yes.
And the notion that there's parallel worlds and that Date can somehow change, because Date assumes that like premonitions are a thing.
Yes, and that he can change the world.
And then he later assumes that he might be able to change the outcome of the world, or like change the world that he's in by doing things in the Somnium.
Yes.
Those are both things that you could assume, or like that are possible in Zero Escape, kind of. Maybe not the. Well, I guess neither are necessarily true in Zero Escape, but they feel like sufficiently.
You can certainly change the past in Zero Escape, by going to the past, even though you're not really changing it. You're kind of just like
you can certainly do things like that, but it's the sort of thing where you're like, that's possible actually. Maybe this is a premonition that you've changed something. But it and then you get Iris's Somnium, where your first inclination is just to do the things that she's telling you.
Right. Yeah.
And
that's like the funniest branch.
And you're not like. Well, you just kind of go along with her, and Iva seems really, really weirdly suspicious of all this.
Yeah.
And then you get like a little too into it.
Suspicious of Iva, right? We were suspicious of Iva a little bit around that.
Yeah, I thought Iva would be evil.
Yeah.
Or like possibly not intentionally so, or like could have been spying or something.
Yeah.
So I was surprised Iva was not bad.
Not evil at all. Not even in this one.
Not even. They didn't even really go that route at all.
And there's certainly like kind of crazy conspiracy style stuff throughout Zero Escape.
Yeah, so the fact that the
whole story of Zero Escape,
the fact that Iris starts bringing up all of this conspiracy shit is like,
I'm like, all right,
Tell me more, Iris.
I'm like, oh, this got good.
Sorry, who's nice at laws? That sounds like a zero escape organization I haven't heard of. And all of the like Egyptian theming and imagery that she goes into. Yep. That's all exactly the sort of shit that you're like, oh no, there's some kind of weird thing going on here, isn't there? And then to find out that she has brain damage.
Yeah, like literally she's just got a like overactive imagination, to say the least.
Yes, an overactive imagination paired with a brain tumor is like, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah, seeing like that was a pretty severe twist. You're like, oh shit. Huh.
there's a lot of good like Occam's razory things in this. They're just like, oh yeah, no, the much easier thing is the dead body just isn't Iris.
Right. Yeah. But you just don't.
That's nice at law doesn't exist. That's crazy. Why would something crazy happen? Right? Like just do the normal thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff like that. Yeah, there's just I don't know. It's just I think a lot of the scenario writing stuff is really good. And yeah, I just like the way the mystery played out. Certainly didn't expect Saito Sejima to be a character.
Well,
until he appears.
It's more like
he's like the missing link because we didn't know who the villain was.
We didn't quite have it right. That we were pretty convinced that 89.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they have this whole thing with 89, and you're like, okay, 89 and Falco have swapped.
Right. So we're like, who is Date?
Right. So we thought Date was whoever. So yeah, we thought
89 and Date
had just swapped, and that was it.
And that was a working hypothesis for a very long time.
But then you have this kind of weird,
and you
like...
get some hints about who Date is, like, in the route where So shoots you.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're his son. I'm like, that's not too surprising. We wear the same purple clothes. We have the same hair color as him, too. Like, they're actually quite linked.
Right.
Okay, so sure. So it's not surprising that Saito Sejima is the killer, except that at the time when that gets revealed...
You think it's 89.
Didn't have, like, the connection to... We're like, how is this possible? Yeah.
Well, it seemed possible. It just seemed like 89 was Saito Sejima, and that's all we swapped.
Right.
Was these two bodies.
And we're like, well, it's not. But then whoever told us Date, it's not him. We know it's not the same killer because this is the one person who's locked down.
Well, I think the main problem was that if 89 was the killer, and we were like, we think the body swapping thing is happening, maybe, but. Yes. This is happening. We've seen 89 since then.
Yeah, and
like very recently, actually, and he's in his body,
jail
or he's in our body.
When when Shoko was killed at the very beginning, like 89's in prison, right. So not him.
So timing was like not quite lining up. So it was it was a really cool like the reveal of it being, oh, that's Rohan.
Yes, and so you nailed that part in the ending of like. If Saito's not that, like, who are the possibilities?
Yeah. So I managed to figure out that it was Rohan.
And there's just enough information...
that we had swapped with Rohan first and then with
Yes, there's
Saito.
Just enough information to prove that it's Rohan because of the weird scene of Rohan and Boss working together.
Yes. Because at the first time we see that, we're like, oh, is Boss evil? Then we see Boss killing So. We're like, oh shit, Boss is evil.
Evil, or at least, like, on
a justice rampage? Yeah.
So, like, a little unclear.
Because, then we did the bottom routes, and we thought... I legitimately thought Boss was already bad.
Sure.
And was doing some sketchy shit.
Right.
Which they might have written that way.
Sure.
Which is good.
Yep.
Because I'm certainly suspicious of Boss after seeing that top route,
and she does some very suspicious things, right? Like cuts off your somnium, and like...
And it's like really aggressive about some weird things.
But Yubi is definitely the killer. It's just like, oh, I was joking.
Yeah, like, lol, I was just joking. Don't mind me. And it just hadn't happened because Boss was with you, and So hadn't switched yet.
So was such a hilarious red herring through the whole game. They're like, you're involved in like everything, and by God, we can never tell how. And it turns out he's just not.
So was irritating. So just made me go like, can you guys not get a warrant? How long does it take to get a warrant in this world?
It's the biggest fail in this game is Date's inability to get warrants.
I think warrants do take a little bit of time, presumably.
But we're like paralegal already.
You'd think, you'd think we could get a fucking warrant for
that's so hard.
Potential serial killer of the decade over here. And maybe it's not super reasonable for Boss to like hide a bunch of things that she hides from you.
Yeah, it's a risk for sure.
But I think the implication is that she might have been in love with you, but is kind of sacrificing that for... I think that's what's going on. I think she does like you quite a bit. I think there is some crush there, and she's just kind of... It's like when your crush comes to you for help, and you're the only one who can be helped.
Yeah.
They maybe do some slightly crazy stuff, like tell you state secrets.
Oh my god.
And do paralegal, like, body swapping.
The sync machine is such an important state secret.
So that we let little girls...
So we should definitely show all these random suspects the sync machine and then just, like, send them on their way. Like,
I didn't understand why they didn't just, like, keep them asleep.
Right. Like,
and move them to a different fucking room. Yeah, like... So, okay, that's...
I guess so new, but...
That's true, so did already know. But, like, did Iris need to know?
Mayumi.
Did Oda need to know? Did Mayumi need to know? There's so many people... That's true. The Mayumi reveal is really good.
Yes. Yeah, so, that Oda...
That was a good ending for her.
Oh, I guess Mayumi's Somnium, right? Mayumi's Somnium. Repairing the diner.
Oh, yeah, it's Mayumi's Somnium.
Yeah, that would be the best Somnium.
Yeah, that was really good. Ooh, the best Somnium. Which one do I think is actually the best? I don't know.
The Nice Lost one is hilarious. But...
I think Mizuki's Date's Somnium is really good.
Yes. Yeah, it is really good. That's true. That probably is the best.
Yeah, I think Date's is probably the most, like, emotional Somnium.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mayumi's is close, because that's also pretty... That one you're like, oh my god,
like, Oda, you're such a little shit.
Your parents literally gave up all of their lives for you.
You know what I do? My mom buys me chocolate. I fucking scream
at her. Yeah. It's the wrong one.
Don't have a kid like Oda.
Yeah. Ugh.
Try your best.
Oof. Big oof. Yeah. Anything else you want to hit on before we call
besides the receptionist?
Oh, there's some pretty great dead ends. The receptionist ending is fucking hilarious.
Yes, you can just leave the entire investigation and just go on, start a new life with her.
Where did they go? Like Aitama or something?
It's like Akita or
Akita?
something.
I don't know. It's something.
Yeah. I don't know the city or place we're talking about, yeah.
I'm just laughing at thinking
look, Date! A rhinoceros beetle!
There's so many, like, funny, silly things.
Yeah.
All of the eye stuff. Especially when they did the scene where they were just like, here's all of the eye things, one after another.
Oh, sure.
Like, let's explain them all to you real quick. Like, oh, fuck.
Hitomi is...
Yeah, Hitomi was a big reveal. There was a lot of, like... Oh, it's like, I thought Iris was named after, like, a part of the eye. Like, your name, Hitomi. And we're like, Hitomi? What does that mean in Japanese? It's like, immediately turn and like, okay, look up Hitomi, please.
Pupil. Damn it.
Yeah, like, whoops, we missed that one. Same thing with, like, looking at people's... I thought the appendixes were cute. There was some stuff hidden in the appendixes. Kind of like in Fire Emblem Three Houses, where you, like, read something in the appendix. We learned about, like, Mizuki likes Unagi.
Oh, sure.
You wouldn't know unless you looked in the appendix.
Right, yeah.
And came up with that as the thing to give her.
I don't know what happens if you try to take her to sushi now.
Yeah, so she just gets mad. I don't know. She, like, supposedly hates raw fish, right?
Yeah, she hates, she hates seafood generally or something. Oh no, it's not actually. No.
Yeah, just like weird people, like people's names, like the guy named Docta.
Yeah, the doctor called it Docta, the nurse called Nas.
The taxi driver called
Takushi, some anagram of
Rodaiba or something. Yeah, there's just a lot of fun, silly. If you like Japanese silliness, there's a lot of Japanese name silliness in this game.
Yes. And just reading the ostensibly Uchikoshi's...
I think it's Uchikoshi writing the appendix, yeah.
Like, here's this technical definition of, like, what oxytocin is. And then, like, my brain secretes this frequently.
Yeah. It's just kind of ramblings of his. And he chooses to define the most random, like, weird things that don't need definitions.
Let me tell you about jobs.
Yeah. You might not know about these. Yeah, it's just a fun. It's a quirky game with a lot of heart. Maybe set back a little bit by some technical issues.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Very compelling.
Yeah, it's like the big hold up is like it's not quite 999.
No,
but I mean, no visual novel ever is going to be. So
yeah, the Zero Escape series is super good. Go buy it.
Yeah. I think that's... Oh, no, my stomach is growling. I think that might be time for us to stop and go grab some dinner. So I think we're going to call that. Yeah. All right, well, thank you for sticking around to listen to us blab, if you did. Yeah, well, don't know what the next episode is. We'll figure that out once we finish another game.
That's true. What are we currently playing?
Oh, what are we... well, we haven't started anything.
Zero.
Oh, yeah, we're playing Katana Zero at the moment.
Shenmue 3 is a likely possibility.
Yeah, it could be Shenmue 3, so we'll stick around. And
stay tuned.
Could be anything.